perfect. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I guess you're wondering what all that was about inside the garage. It was a bit of a mess in there. My intentions was to get down a tip, but as soon as lockdown came in, that was it. All the tips were shut and my garage is a shithole. But I went in there to find a little bit of inspiration, something to photograph, and I came out with this stuff. I've already started cutting it down, and I just thought I could use, it keeps falling out, I thought I could use some of this stuff, bamboo stuff, and I found an old picnic basket as well. I thought I might be able to do something with that, maybe a background. I found my old umbrella. I didn't even know that was in there, I'd lost that, but I found that. That won't be getting thrown away, but I'll be able to use that for something. And I'm going to be shooting stuff indoors on window light using my pinhole camera. I'll just show you what the pinhole camera is and how it works. And then we'll get all this stuff together. I haven't got a clue yet what I'm going to do with it, but I'll try and sort something out and hopefully get some nice photographs at the end of it. I'm going to get in the darkroom behind me and make some nice large 24-inch prints. I haven't done that for quite some time, so stick around. We'll do all this photography stuff with the pinhole camera and then get in the darkroom afterwards, make some big ass prints. So before I go any further, I'll just show you the pinhole camera in case you're new to the channel and you haven't seen me describe this pinhole camera before. This is a LeRouge 66 pinhole camera, and I got this in Spitalfields Market in London by great guys called Greenwich Cameras, and I wasn't even looking for a pinhole camera. It was on their stall and that was it. I was like, mate, how does it work? He told me. I said, let me have it. I bought it, went home, didn't have a clue how to use it, but since then I've become to really love pinhole photography. I just love the look of it, and it blows my mind every time I come back with images that I haven't got a clue what's on the negs, but 9 times out of 10 I come back and it just blows my mind. I'll just show you the pinhole camera. So it's a very simple construction. This is a 6x6 medium format, and when it's all together, that's how it looks. Close the lid, and that's your shutter there. The pinhole itself is a diameter of 0.2 millimeters, so it's very small indeed. And that's the shutter release there, like I said. And when you open it, it's so simple inside. That's it. So that's the back. That's where your film would sit, and it's literally just bits of wood and metal. So it takes 120 film. The film I'm going to use today is Ilford's Delta. That's the film I'm going to be shooting with today. I always find it tricky trying to load around cameras and stuff. Usually I've got this on my lap. But that's the Ilford Delta there, 120 film. It's quite easy to load. Pop that under there. In it goes. Take the backing off. Get the flappy bit underneath, there it is, and just pop it into that little groove there and just start winding it on. Tighten it up a little bit, pop the cover back on, pop the lid on, put the screw back on top. That's nice and tight, and then just start advancing it using this. I'll show you. Open the little lid there, you can see inside. As we start twisting the film, winding it onto the take-up spool, you can now start seeing the numbers of the film. There we go, that's the start of it there. So I won't go any further because I'm going to wind this on when I start taking my photographs. But that's basically what the pinhole camera is. It's a fantastic bit of kit, and you know, if anyone's into film photography, they're reasonably cheap. Go and grab one, you won't be disappointed. So I didn't have a clue what to do with these sticks, although I knew I wanted to take photographs of them using the pinhole camera. And then I thought of an idea of the pinhole coming straight down into the sticks, so they all start, you know, kind of like a three-dimensional look. But I didn't have a clue how to, or you know, any idea how to fix these sticks, because the pinhole's so wide. If I'd done this against this background, for example, the chances are everything would have been in shot. So I needed to somehow suspend these on a background, but then I thought the other week when I did that Edward Weston idea with a pot plant, I thought, great, I'll put them inside a bucket. So that's what I did. I got this old black bucket and I stuck an hole in the bottom, dear Liza, and I've pinned them, all the sticks with some string and some cling film at the bottom. There's my sticks in the bucket, and you can see my contraption here that I've made. This is a Monfrotto tripod, cheap and cheerful one. I took the stem out and I shoved some other bits down in the stem, and then I used some other bits that I've got from Studio Grip to get, what do they call it? I don't know, a boom pole if you like. But the boom was too long, so and it was wobbling the camera. There was no way I could open the shutter with my hand because it was wobbling too much. So I ended up gaffer taping the stem to the boom. Oh, you get the point anyway. So that way I can get the pinhole down in there. So I've just done a reading and it's given me 5.6 1/8 of a second. So I've got a conversion chart here. I've got an app that I've downloaded ages ago for pinhole photography, and basically I dial in my aperture and my shutter speed, and it gives me an equivalent of pinhole. So 1/8 of a second is 1 minute 30 seconds on pinhole, but I've got to convert now for the reciprocity failure of the delta to 100, which is the same as FP4 according to Ilford's chart. So 1 minute 30 seconds is, say, 90 seconds. So we'll go 90 to the power of 1.26, and that gives us 289.964. So we'll say 290 seconds. So it works out at 290 seconds, so that's what, nearly 5 minutes. So I'm going to do this exposure for 5 minutes. Hopefully it'll be all right. Right, so the negatives are developed now, they're just drying, so once they're dry I'll be able to bring them in here and start doing my printing. Now I'm going to be printing large, so I'll show you what I'll be up to. That's me enlarger there, as you've seen before. It's tilted on its side because I'll be projecting against the wall. What else have I got? This is the wall that I'll be projecting on. Behind that I've got my paper, that's 10-foot roll of Kentmere paper, almost gone, so I can't waste much of it. And so I've got to do some test strips first. Once I've done the test strips I can then bring the paper over here, roll it out, cut it to size, bring it back over here, clip it on here, and as it drapes down, just stick a little bit of masking tape either side, make sure it's nice and flat. Do my projection. Once it's projected, I'll stick it in there. That'll be the development tray, and then over here, they're the test trays at the moment for test strips, but you can see my other trays are under here. I've got 3 more of these. So one is stop, one is fix, and the other one is wash. So I won't have room for all 3 trays, so at some point I'm going to have to dump out one of the chemicals, probably the fixer, just so I can make room for the washing side of things. So yeah, let's get on in a moment. So those were DSLR scans that you just saw popping up there. These are the actual negatives. I did 3 of these ones. That was at the 5-minute exposure time. That one I did at 3 minutes, and then that one I did at 8 minutes, just a variation. And then I went on and did another one there. And then the rest of them I just wanted to shoot off the roll. I pretty much had what I wanted. So I just tried some different things here. The umbrella, you saw these ones. The DSLR scans didn't come out too well with these, but I know if I put these under the enlarger, made prints in the chemicals, the blacks would be looking quite good. There were the roses and the basket and the other twigs there. But this is the one I'm going to put in the enlarger now, do some test prints and then make a large print. Right, so I've just done my test strips and I'm happy at 2.5 grade filter at 25 seconds. So let's cut a piece of paper out. And I'm not going to do this, I'm only going to do one print. I'm not going to, if it goes wrong, I'm not going to waste more paper trying to get it right. And, you know, whatever comes out, comes out. I hope I've got enough. Yeah, I have. Oh. I was so scared I didn't have enough paper. But I have, so that's good. Right, let's slice that off and somehow pin it up on that board. I'm just going to turn this red light off. And this should hang down. I've actually really misjudged this. I thought the paper was wider. Oh well, never mind. Here's what it is. Oh, that's a bummer. I thought this paper was wider. Never mind. Looks like it's in the middle, which is good. And if there's any dust marks, hairs and stuff, it's not going to bother me. That's done. Now we need to develop it. Now this is the developer. I'm just going to splash it over and then start using my hand to rub it all in. There she goes. I'll just even it out like so with my hand. Print's coming through. Try and get it equal. I can start sloshing. It's looking nice. It's bloody big. Just a bit dark around the edges actually. I don't know though, I'll soon see when I stop and fix it. Pour the stop bath on. Please don't leak, Mr. Tray. In goes a stop bath. Same again, the glove's clean, I've washed it in water. Now, I don't have an extractor fan in this shed, but I don't often make these size prints because I'm using 2 litres of chemicals in each pod or each tray. Should really have an extractor above me, but I'm going to open that door as soon as this gets fixed. Fixing time. So that's the print, it's all dry now. I brought it in from the garden, I didn't leave it on the washing line really. Don't recommend that guys, all little midges and flies can get on it. But yeah, just a bit too dark over this side and I wasn't going to be prepared to put more paper underneath, print off more paper. Just wasn't worth it, you know, but I still like the photograph. Just shows you what you can do with a little bit of imagination. But I did, just out of curiosity, print a smaller one, which I really liked. And there it is there. I don't know if you can see that with the light maybe shining on it. But I had to have a little bit of jiggery pokery in the darkroom with this, much easier on a smaller print than it is a large print. But I ended up using 2.5 grade filter for 25 seconds over this side, but over this side where the bigger print was darker, I just dodged for 15 seconds of that 25 and then used a contrast 5 filter to build the blacks back up and keep the whites. So I'm really happy with that. That's an 8x8 print and that one's going to go on my wall. I'm going to frame that one. And if you noticed earlier on in the video, I took the picture up, it was originally in that frame and put that one in it. So from opening the garage and having a little rummage around, I managed to find those sticks. Unfortunately I didn't find a Back to the Future truck, but never mind. I've managed to find those sticks and when I started taking the photographs, of them inside the bucket, I pretty much wanted to rip them out of the camera there and then and start printing, but I had to shoot the rest of the roll off, and then I was sort of started running out of ideas. But you know, it just goes to show what you can do when you're locked down or you're isolating yourself, and use a little bit of imagination and try and pull something together, as I did here. And I quite enjoyed doing that shoot. I enjoyed trying to make that large print, but unfortunately it didn't work. But I got a small one anyway for my efforts, and like I said, that's going to go on the wall. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and share it out, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed. And a massive thanks to the people that support me on Patreon, and also you guys that comment on my videos for me and the rest of the film community. I really appreciate it. Catch you next time.